In May 2012 and March 2013, 1MDB raised a 10-year loan, both are 10-year loans, $1.75 billion US dollars and $3 billion US dollars respectively. Okay, in ringgit terms, it's 5.6 billion and 9.6 billion. What was shocking was the fact that 630 million ringgit and 906 million ringgit were deducted for certain commissions, fees, and expenses for the loans respectively. These amounts worked out to a staggering 11.2% and 9.4% of the funds raised. That means of every 10 ringgit I get, of every 100 ringgit I get, I have to pay out 11 ringgit 20 cents for commission and fees and expenses, which is like, in layman's terms, a bit like loan chart, tai long. Okay, as demonstrated in the story, the standard fees payable to investment bankers for other entities and governments ranges only between 0.1% and 2%. We are paying 11.2%. Other people pay 0.1% to 2% for fees and expenses. The Naga National, for example, raised 350 million US by paying 2% in fees and expenses. For larger fundraising exercises such as the one by Penerbangan Malaysia Berhad, 1 billion US dollars, it was raised with only 0.5% in fees and expenses. The Mexican and Uruguayan governments, these are not exactly first world countries, on the other hand, issued bonds amounting to 3.9 billion US and 2 billion US by deducting only 0.2% and 0.1% in fees and expenses respectively. How is it that 1MDB, a wholly owned government subsidiary, chaired by none other than the Prime Minister himself, Datuk Sri Najib Razak, have to incur such a scandalous cost to raise these funds? What was interesting was the fact that Goldman Sachs was also the sole arranger for both fundraising exercises. A quick look at the other fundraising exercises for Equiza International, Apple Incorporated, and Mexican government, where Goldman Sachs was involved, showed that the fees and expenses amounted to only 1.3%, 0.3%, and 0.2% respectively. All these data were in the Age report. Hence, was 1MDB so idiotic then to be paying 11.2% and 9.4% in fees? Or was Goldman Sachs so unethical that it was charging 1MDB more than 10 times its average market rates? I would certainly like to think that 1MDB cannot be so stupid, so idiotic. Neither could Goldman Sachs be so completely unethical. Hence the question arises, who were paid these certain commissions as stated in the fundraising document? Malaysians deserve to know the truth of the matter, as these hundreds of millions of ringgit in commissions were paid from 1MDB, which is wholly owned by the government. Datuk Sri Najib Razak, who is also the finance minister, must certainly come clean and be accountable for these certain commissions and not hide behind a veil of secrecy and evasive language. In fact, we would like to challenge Datuk Sri Najib Razak to prove the critics like us wrong by fully disclosing the detailed breakdown of the specific recipients of the combined 1.536 billion in certain commissions, fees, and expenses to prove that the above transactions were entirely above board.